Information overload. People are just, they want to know and have the information, and then it kind of gets all jumbled up, and then they're not sure what's my next step.
A new Alabama hotline is bringing support to people feeling confused and anxious because of the pandemic. Our Sydney Stallworth tells us how Alabama Apart Together is helping people find that next step in this week's Mental Health Monday.
People are struggling. We are all, every one of us in this state are struggling.
Lisa Turley says she's answered hundreds of calls since the Alabama Apart Together crisis line opened in December 2020. And a lot of people are wondering what to do during the pandemic, whether it's questions about the vaccine rollout.
I've received calls from older individuals. They don't have internet access, and all they're hearing is go here online to register. But folks are anxious. People have been waiting on the vaccine, and they just need to kind of talk it out, or they just need someone to explain what that process is about when, they're going to be able to register.
Or people seeking emotional support.
Lots of calls where people just want to talk.
Thanks to a federal crisis counseling grant from FEMA and SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, people in Alabama have access to a team of professionals to help them navigate the pandemic and any changes it brings. These grants are usually made available after different kinds of emergencies.
Typically natural disasters. This is the first time for us here in the U.S. with a pandemic.
You can call the statewide information line, and the person on the other end of the phone will be someone from your area ready to answer questions and connect you with local mental health organizations. The hotline will be up and running for a while.
Anywhere usually from 12 to 18 months.
And they say you should give it a try.
If you're feeling apprehensive, down about where we are, please call.
You can call the Alabama Apart Together statewide hotline at 1-888-422-1793. If you are in Madison and Coleman counties, you can call or text this local number, 256-425-6055. And of course, you can find more mental health resources on rocketcitynow.com.